No. Donnie, you can't be there. Get. Okay. Suddenly there's drama. There's kitty cats that want to be on TV too. All right, cool. So I'm Lauren Foster with Be Happy First, and this is the second week of our 12-week course in the 10 steps to greater higher self-esteem and greater happiness. So what we intend to do here is to kind of shine a light on how our self-image has been shaped by our lives, by people around us, by things that have happened to us, stories we've heard, stories we've told ourselves, and to understand that our self-esteem is more than, the root of the word self-esteem is an old French word that means to estimate. And so, well, we often think of, she has great self-esteem, meaning that she has a high opinion of herself. But it's really more than just your opinion of yourself. It's more about the pattern within which you see your life, and you can never outperform what that pattern is for yourself. Now that's the somewhat bad news, in that you cannot outperform your self-esteem. But the good news is that you are in charge of those patterns, and you're in charge of the things that you think about and the things that you choose to pay attention to. And you can therefore expand and increase and make yourself a greater playing field by having a higher self-esteem, and then therefore greater happiness. So what we talked about last week, I told you a little bit about my story and about what we were planning to expect here, and went a little more in depth about what exactly we mean by self-esteem. And for the images of this, just picture it as like this is the field that I can grow within, and if I want to grow bigger, then I've got to move those fences out and make myself a bigger place to grow into, and a greater place to strive into, and to be. So increasing our self-esteem. See, looking at my notes. All right, so this week we're going to talk about step 1, which is figuring out what you would have been, what your life would have been, what your life could be had you continued to listen to your own inner voice, if you had continued to be that genius that you were when you were a baby before you started looking into the eyes of others for approval. Well, what did you lose? What did you give up? What could that life be like? And we're going to construct a vision. That's going to be one of our primary tools that we work with throughout this time, and we're going to go through how to do that. And then next week we will move on to testing that. We're creating a dream for a new type of self-esteem that we're moving towards, and a greater happiness. And then we're going to figure out if that really is what we still would love. Your homework, if you were not here last week and haven't seen last week's lesson, your homework last week was to make a list of the things that you loved to do when you were a little kid, and then make a list of the things that you like to do now, and see if there's overlap. See what kinds of things see what dreams you gave up when you were a kid. It's real easy for me. I was a actress when I was a little girl, and a singer, and I gave up that dream because people convinced me that I didn't have a chance, that, I didn't listen to the voice within me that made me want to do that. I listened to the voices outside that said, oh no, that's too hard, that you'll never make that. The same thing with being a famous DJ, and with a whole lot of dreams that I had throughout my life. I gave those up because I let circumstances and conditions and the voices of people who are smarter than me convinced me that that was not possible for me. But now I know better. Now I know that my potential and yours is unlimited, that we can be and do and have and give and create in any way we want to, that the only restrictions that there are those that we put on ourselves, and the way that we allow our self-esteem and our self-patterns to be. So, then comparing between the things that you loved to do as a kid and the things that you do now, and kind of get your imagination working again, and see and start awakening the part of yourself that is able to dream and able to imagine something greater. And so next week we'll be testing that dream, and then we'll go on to working on our sense of deserving. We'll talk about forgiveness. We will talk about all kinds of different things as the 12 weeks go on. But our lesson for today, I think I've given everybody time to join. That's going to. Hi, Rob. Hi, Danny. I'm not very good at this. I'm not real sure how this part works, but this part I do know, the teaching part. So this week we want to talk about our vision. What did you lose? What did you give up when you gave up being your own person as a child? And we all create in 4 different areas of our lives, no matter what. If you live today, you will create in these 4 areas. In the area of your health, we all have to have a physical body to walk around in. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, but the human experience is very much connected with this physical body, and that's our shrine that we live in. So you're going to create something in the area of your health. And relationships, unless you live completely off the grid on the side of a mountain with no phone, no internet, no anything, you're going to interact with other people. You have relationships. So we all, most of us, let's say just about everybody will create in the area of relationships. Your work, your way that you creatively express yourself in the world, and subsequently most times the way you earn your living. The way that our world is structured, everybody's got to pay the rent, pay the mortgage, and so there's something that you do to get that done, and it's supposed to be joyful. Unlike what a lot of us were taught, it's not supposed to be hard and rigorous. You're not just supposed to torture yourself for 40 years until you can retire and then go and have fun. You're supposed to be enjoying yourself now. And then the final area is your time and money freedom. A lot of times we'll do all right in 1 or 2 areas of our lives, and we'll do terrible in the other because we sacrificed in order to make that happen. So, for instance, you may have plenty of money. You may be able to buy anything that you want, but you don't have the time to spend that great money, and you don't have anybody great to spend it with because you spend all your time working with your nose to the grindstone and not working on your relationship. So you sacrificed in that area in order to do something better. But this says my connection is weak. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's cutting me off or what, but I'm just going to keep going. Okay, so in those 4 areas, if you could project yourself in a time machine 3 years in the future, or wave a magic wand, whatever imagery works best for you, but it's 3 years from now, it's 2020. And you have your life exactly the way you want it to be. And you cannot fail. Everything is possible. Get in the mind of a child and imagine that every single thing can be possible, and write the vision for your life. And this, I hope that you're prepared to take some notes. Oh, the other part of your homework last week was to get a journal, which, I like to have a pretty journal that's, got a neat little clasp and, write in pretty different colors and things like that. But, whatever works for you, but a place to honor this part of your life that you're working on, this 12-week program that you have committed yourself to. If you really do the things that we're doing and really give thought to the lessons and the thoughts that we're covering each week, I promise you, at the end of this 12 weeks, your life will be different. Your attitude will be different. Your outlook will be different. You will start to see things around you change in ways that you could not even imagine. But you have to show up, you have to do the work, and you have to do it every day. So last week I told you to buy a journal. And so hopefully you did, and you can take some notes in your journal this week. So the way that you want your vision to be created is to, first of all, start off with gratitude. Our stock phrase is, I am so happy and grateful now that, and write it in the present tense. I am is the second part. So the first is, I'm so happy and grateful now that, I'm going to actually move because it says my internet connection is weak. So we will just have a different one. What's that for a plan? Versatility. This is a let's see. This is a box of rocks that I'm going to use as a tool today. First of all, I'm so happy and grateful now that, and then second, I am, write your vision in the present tense as if this has already happened. You are Marty McFly, and you've gone into the future, and this is what's happening now. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am, present tense, and the most powerful words that are in the universe. Everything that comes after I am is really very, very powerful. So be careful not to ever say I am anything that you don't want to be. Don't say I am fat, I am lazy, I am anything bad. But always follow I am with awesome phrases, things that you want and love. And then number 3 is to be very specific. The universe cannot cash a check for a lot of money. If money is one of the things that you wish for, then say how much. Say how much money you want in your vision. How much is in the bank? How much is coming in every month? If you are in search of your soulmate, what does that look like? What does your soulmate look like? Describe this person and describe the relationship that you have with them, the things that you do, the places that you go together. But so whatever it is that's in your vision, be very specific about it. And then write everything in the positive. So instead of saying, my back doesn't hurt anymore, say, my back feels amazing. My health is amazing. Write things in because if I tell you, don't think about your car. Don't think about that vehicle sitting out in your driveway that is this color and that color, that you can't help but that thought and the image of your car popping into your head. So if I say, oh, I don't want this, I'm still creating the image of that. So figure out what it is that you don't want and then write in your vision the opposite of what that is. And then finally, wrap it all up by holding your dream out to the universe with open hands, by saying this or something better still. The universe can create so much more vividly and powerfully and more cool than we ever can. So we don't ever want to limit the universe by saying, oh, this is the only thing that I want and I only want it in this way. Give the universe room to create as well by saying this or something better still. So that is your homework for the week, and spend some time with it and think about it and try on some different dreams. Try on the way different things feel when you think about them and write them down. And I will put all of this in the notes, and that should be all good in there for you. And I will look forward to seeing you next week, same time, for week 3, step 2, which is testing your dream, figuring out if this new dream that you have come up with, this new vision for your life, is something that does truly serve you and is something that is still appropriate for you. So until next time, remember to be happy first. It's the most important lesson that we have. We all get to choose in this moment whether we're happy or not. And despite any circumstance that's outside of us, if we make the decision, no, my happiness is what's most important and I get to choose, I'm going to be happy, then we're so much better equipped to deal with all of the conditions that show up in our lives anyway. So be happy first. I love you. I will see you next week. Namaste. Mwah.